Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio. Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode... I don't know. Whatever. This is episode 198. My name is Zachy Hassan, and I am here, not physically in the same space, but emotionally occupying the same space with Brian Hall.
Always. How's it going, Zachy?
We've been practicing safe social distancing for a while now.
Yeah. Wait, I was just about to make a joke, and then I thought, wait, did you already make this joke about when Krusty is broadcasting from the desert from a shack?
I have not made that joke, so I will allow you.
Hey, Zachy, it's like we're broadcasting like Krusty in the middle of the desert from that shack.
It is kind of like that.
Yeah, but no, you're right, actually. I mean, it is sort of like, I guess, like a radio show, right? Where you'd have all these DJs sitting around with those big, long arm microphone things. But we've been doing this at a distance for years.
From the jump.
Yep. So how's it going? How's it going on your end?
It's I was gonna make a joke about how miserable I am, but the truth is, I mean, at the end of the day, all my kids are healthy. Everyone, right. No one in my immediate circle is sick or anything like that. So big picture, the truth is, I'm doing absolutely fine.
I know. I keep wanting to make jokes, but there are some very not funny things happening to a lot of people in the world. And so what's happening is not funny at all. But yes. Being locked down inside does present humor. You know what I mean? In your little sphere. So it's like finding the balance.
Yeah. I've taken to walking around the house with a volleyball with a face on it, and I just... I talk to the volleyball. My kids are like, Dad, I'm right here. I'm like, Wilson, it's so lonely here. And my 11-year-old's like, hey, Dad, what are you doing? I'm like, so lonely. All alone.
That's hilarious.
No, yeah, we just got word from the school district yesterday that the kids' schools will be, distance learning until further notice now until the end of the semester.
Wow. So wait, what's that like? I mean, I've seen people post about this, but I mean, do they have class every day? Like they get on their computers and go to class every day?
I think. I'm not really sure how it works, to be honest. They're given assignments.
Keep me pretty busy, Brian.
They're given assignments of some kind, and I don't know how much of it is synchronous and how much of it is self-paced. I mean, it's just the Wild West. I mean, I know what I'm just trying to do with my classes, my online classes, and that's been an interesting thing. I was telling my wife yesterday. I was like, at the end of a day of online teaching, I'm more tired than like just regular teaching.
Wow, why do you think that is?
I think certainly for me, I enjoy the give and take of being there in person. I like the energy. I feed off of that energy.
Right.
And when you're doing it through a screen, you have to overexert in order to present a certain amount of energy. Here's an analogy, which you will either get or you'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But Roddy McDowall used to talk about when he was making the Planet of the Apes movies, acting under the ape appliances.
Right.
And he said that in order for the ape makeup to appear alive, his actual face, he had to be emoting at like 200%. So that even cut down to half, you would still see that through the makeup. Wow,
I didn't realize it would just the video screen would require that.
Yeah, it's that like you're putting on a show,
Right.
And so that's been a challenge. I mean, it's a good challenge. I keep saying so. I'm like, look, I get to keep doing my job. I don't have immediate concerns about things like rent and stuff, and that's not what a lot of people can say. But yeah, I mean, these are just new challenges, and I'm always like, well, this is a skill set that you know it, and then after that, you have it. You can rely on it for the future. But
definite, yeah.
There's another thing that's started. There's a new phenomenon called Zoom bombing. And
what's this?
Well, and most of these conferences are through Zoom rooms, right? So what started to happen is you'll have people in your class take the link to the Zoom room and they'll just post it in 4chan.
Oh, I saw a video. Well, I'll let you continue, but I think I read about something about this.
Yeah, I mean, 4chan, for those of you who don't know, I mean, it is the collective sewage dump of the internet.
Right.
Which is plenty sewagey already.
Right.
So it's the sewage dump of the sewage dump.
Right.
So it's like it's like handing a box of matches to a pyromaniac. So you'll have people, and this happened in one of my classes. Somebody posted a link to the classroom in 4chan, and I had like a bunch of crazy people show up and in the chat room and started like putting hate slogans and things like that, and I had to just shut the whole thing down.
Really?
Yeah. And so here's me. I had to become like Detective Columbo afterwards. I actually, I went into descended into 4chan is a better way of framing it. I descend.
Right. Oh, I thought you were going to be like, you yelled out like Spicoli.
No, I went into 4chan just to see where the link originated from, and I actually found the original posts.
Really?
Where somebody's like, "Hey, I'm bored in this classroom. Somebody like f with this just to just cuz or whatever." I just feel like effing with people, and so I found those, but I don't know who it was. But like I talked to the class after. I'm like, look, I don't want to know who it is. I don't really care. Because I like all y'all, whatever, But I'm like, guys, you're in college, number one. Number two, if you're bored, here's an idea. Just go do something else.
Right.
Because I neither know if you're here, nor do I care at the end of the day.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's weird to have that conversation. Like, yeah, just F off then. Like, I don't care.
That's so funny that you had to give that sort of speech. It's not like you're teaching junior high or anything.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? I'm like, you're in college. Like, I shouldn't even have to have this conversation with you. Like, nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I would at least have a little bit of respect for it if it was some sort of clever sort of thing, that they were doing, and like, you they came up with some sort of. I don't even know what it would be, but like some sort of flash mobby silliness that they concocted on their own. You'd be like, okay, thank you. That wasted 2 minutes,
Yes, right.
But just to be like, hey, some jackass out there want to be a jackass?
Right.
That's just not even creative.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the downside. The upside is, in one of my classes, which is a media class, I normally screen The Godfather. Mm-hmm. And for this, obviously, I'm just like, all right, you're going to watch The Godfather, and then we'll talk about it. And so I got on yesterday, and I had like a hour and 20-minute conversation with like all these people online about The Godfather, and I'm like, this is it, man. This is what it's about. Like,
that's cool.
Cool. So like I said, there's ups and downs. I don't want to make this about me. Again, it's just all experiences. I mean, what have you been up to?
Well, yeah, well, I do want to say, like, this is really interesting to me. I mean, because we are all affected in one way or another, and it's just interesting seeing how people are like accommodating, right? Like if you're a teacher and you have a classroom and now you have to do it online, like I don't know, that's fascinating to me to hear these stories. I hope there's more, fun stories than the negative ones, but
fingers crossed.
Yeah,
as time.
Well, I had my birthday in quarantine, which was such a weird thing. This was kind of a big one. I was turning 40. And so, we had a party planned. My friends were awesome and putting something together for me. And then as the date approached, we were like, I don't know. We're going to have to like keep an eye on that date. Eventually to like, oh, no one is going to want to be in a room together.
Yeah.
Kind of a situation, which was like, oh, wow. And it's interesting because I was totally fine with it. I was like, well, this is the world we're living in. But I could tell, my girlfriend, my friends were a little concerned that I'd still have a good day. And And it's funny because it totally ended up being a great day. Like I woke up and my girlfriend had put up streamers, which was super fun. And then it's like, you just got all these messages, and you usually get texts and Facebook messages for your birthday, but I felt like because people were at home, they had a little extra time and they were actually making videos. So I got a lot of videos and people with their kids and people singing songs, which was incredible. And then I had a friend drive up from Santa Monica just to stand 6 feet away from me on a sidewalk. And so we have pictures of us doing, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa thing where you hold up your hand to hold up the tower.
Yeah.
And we're giving like a virtual high five from 8 feet away or whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then at, in the evening, they got me barbecue from my favorite barbecue place in the Valley, Rib Ranch. I'll give that shout out, even though I don't think we have an ad from them. So it ended up being obviously unavoidable, just a weird, unique period in time for so many people. And like you said, people are going through much, much worse right now. And just having that experience was super unique in a weird way. For being distanced, I felt really, really connected in a way that even more so than on some previous birthdays. So it ended up being really special.
So my takeaway is, come next birthday, I don't need to see you or get you anything.
Right.
Just think of you, and that'll be...
Yeah, there's something to these videos and not actually having to interact.
You know what's crazy is, well, first of all, I was planning on coming down for your birthday.
Really?
And I'm not making
I'm learning this right now. I did not know that.
That was my plan, because I don't know, I'm sure you remember this. I came down and surprised you for your 30th.
Yep.
Which was... It's crazy to me, that was 10 years ago, but...
I know.
That had fully... And you know what's weird is I associate that... I associate your 30th birthday with watching Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh, yeah. See, I remember doing that, but I didn't remember that it was during that time.
Yeah.
But I do remember that was in Sean's neck of the woods, Simi Valley or something.
It was that trip. It was your 30th birthday trip.
Oh, funny.
So my plan had been, I'm going to come down, but spoiler alert, I didn't.
Yeah, well, hey, I appreciate it anyway.
It took literally the plague to keep me from coming down. So there you go. There you go.
Yeah, but I mean, I know a lot of my friends actually, and my girlfriend listen to the show, and I've told them already, but really, I mean, it surprised me, and it meant a lot. I couldn't believe how special it ended up feeling anyway. But, well, in more entertainment-related news, here's something I never thought I would cop to on this show. This past week, I wrapped up the WB TV series, or CW TV series, Heart of Dixie.
So this is Rachel Bilson.
So I think this started in like 2011 or something. So let me go back in time a little bit.
Rachel, but real quick, Rachel Bilson, daughter of Danny Bilson, previous guest on the Nostalgia Theater Show. I just want to put that out there.
Oh, you know what? I remember that now.
Yeah.
Now that, I listened to that episode. That's right.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So, so a couple months ago, I got a text from our pal Sean Coyle, and he was like, "Hey, you and your girlfriend should watch Heart of Dixie. It's on Netflix. Me and the wife just finished it," and he said, "It's just this really charming, sweet show, and I just wrapped it up, and I'm sad that it's over. And it's just it's this show about this town that I just wish I could visit, and I'm gonna miss it." And I thought, I don't know, yeah, maybe. And so I proposed it to my girlfriend Federica, and I was like, "So Sean's recommending the show Heart of Dixie," and she had seen it already, and she's like, "Yes," just like, "Yes, we're gonna watch that."
Wow.
And then. So we queued it up on Netflix one night, and in my head, as I have a lot of times when I'm starting something I'm unsure about, I'm like, I haven't even seen The Wire. like I'm gonna watch 70-something episodes of Heart of Dixie. Like, it just felt really daunting, and I don't binge a lot of television, I should say too. So I'm really kind of movie oriented. Like, I have my shows, that I've 100% chosen, I am all in on, but I don't take a lot of chances on TV, and I don't binge a lot. So this was very daunting to me. And as it started, it's super sweet, and it's very corny is a little harsh, but it's just very, very is what it is.
Very CW.
Like, okay. very CW. And I was like, all right. And then episode 1 ends, and I'm like, well, let's go to episode 2. Then when episode 2 ends, I'm like, well, what's she gonna do? And then I'm gonna go into episode 3, episode 4. Zachy, I love this show.
Really?
I cannot believe it. But so, as I've mentioned on here before, my girlfriend and I, she comes out here. Sometimes I go out there, but we're currently long distance. And we actually started watching the show, like we would sync it up and watch it on opposite coasts even. Huh. And so we'd watch it a couple times that way, and then we'd visit. We'd like binge a whole ton of them. And we even I went on Cameo at one point and had one of the actresses, Caitlin Black, do a little like, hey, to Federica to queue up one of the episodes for us. Anyway, so we wrapped it up this past week, and it got to the point where we had, say, like 5 episodes left, and I was like, let's do one tonight. Because I wasn't ready for it to end.
Oh, how funny.
And it's funny because then I thought about what Sean said, and when it got to the last episode, I was like, yeah, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave this place.
Wow.
And so this show is definitely not going to be for everybody. However, it is this almost like fantasy of like just this really sweet town with these nice, quirky characters who they get into hijinks. And of course, the series has its highs and lows, but for the most part, I just really was charmed by it and had a great time. And I, just like Sean said, when it ended, I wasn't quite ready to leave. And I liked it enough that I felt like it was worth mentioning on here for some escapism for people who are stuck in quarantine. So.
Well, while we're talking about Sean recommendations, I suppose I should mention another show that I started watching because of Sean.
Yeah,
I love how we're talking about Sean like he's dead, by the way. He was just on an episode. We're like, you know what I loved about Sean? Like, another thing I liked about him? No,
maybe he's away at college, and then he's going to show up at the end with his duffel bag and be like, "I'm back."
So he got me started on Hawaii Five-0.
Right.
A little over a year ago or whenever that was. And
yes.
And that was a show that it was like me and my oldest. That was just a thing we watched together. And now there is 1 episode left of that show. So we were behind, but we caught up at exactly the right place. So now we're 100% caught up, and there's one more episode left. 10 seasons that show has been on the air.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
That's CBS magic, huh?
I'm telling you, man, I have said this so many times. All you got to do is create a procedural with some kind of hook, get it on CBS, and then just sit on your porch and sip mint juleps until you die.
Yeah, that's the dream.
That is the dream. But I will miss you, Hawaii Five-0. You gave me so much and asked so little.
Sean's been recommending that to me too, and I just didn't feel like it was my bag.
I don't think it is your bag, Brian.
Oh well, I was gonna say because I would have never imagined Heart of Dixie was, but okay.
I don't know. I mean, you're not really a procedural guy.
I'm kind of not. Yeah. Even because I loved 24 back in the day, but that was more sort of connected, like a 24-hour movie.
Yeah, that was a serialized. I mean, that was like a big movie.
Yeah.
I think the whole appeal of procedural shows is you get within 42 minutes, you get a beginning, middle, end, and then you get on with your day.
Right.
And there is, it's funny because for me, I'm generally not a big fan of super serialization. Because what I tend to find with rare exceptions is the longer the story goes, the less satisfying the payoff tends to be.
Yeah, sure.
Right? With rare exceptions.
Right.
Like for every Breaking Bad, there's a Lost,
Right.
Which I didn't hate the finale of Lost, I should say that. But I mean, it was trying to do a lot.
And they were unfortunately burdened with not knowing when that show was going to end, and so they had to keep stretching it out. I've heard them lament that.
Yes. It's almost like that's just a thing J.J. Abrams does.
Wait. Is what?
Not know how to end a story.
Yeah.
When he starts. I don't know. I'm seeing a pattern. It's like poetry, Brian.
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
just real quick to puff up Lost a little bit, but like it needs it. But yeah, my girlfriend's going through it again, and every now and then I'll find myself looking over her shoulder, and it doesn't even matter. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't even know what season she's in, but it is just captivating.
Oh yeah.
Like the actors, the music, the writing, the direction, like all of it is just and I find myself, and she's like, oh, okay, I'm done. I'm like, you don't want to keep going? Like, it's just, and it doesn't even matter. I don't even remember where they're at. It's just, yeah, it was so well done. But yes, I mean, it would have been nicer if they had, now in this day and age when they have these mini series or whatever they call them, limited series, if they had been able to plot out their whole beginning, middle, and end, I'm sure it would have made it a little more cohesive.
Yeah, it was a slave to the 26 episode season or whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm,
which required, well, we have to hit certain touchstones in the season, but we also have to come up with certain fillers.
Mm-hmm.
And Lost is, I don't know how many episodes the show lasted, but if you trimmed a third off of those and you let the remaining episodes be a lot leaner and meaner, I think overall it would be much more beloved now. I feel like Lost means something very special to the people who watched it, but I don't know that it's had an afterlife, you know?
Yeah, that it could have. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I've you know this, and I'm sure I said this on the show. I owe my master's thesis to Lost because that's what I wrote.
That's right. Yeah.
That's how I got my degree, was watching the 2 seasons of Lost. So I got nothing but love for Lost. But in fact, I should send this to you. There's a YouTube video I just saw last. I don't know if it's new or if it just came across my feed, but specifically dissecting the pilot of Lost and how it is the perfect TV pilot.
Oh, I remember. I mean, we're getting more and more used to, with Game of Thrones and whatnot, like cinematic television, but that thing was that was something we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, just there had not been anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of serialized shows, I made an exception this past week, and I watched The Hot Zone.
Yes, which we mentioned.
Yeah, we had talked about it on the show, and that's what kind of made me say, oh, I wonder if it's available. And then just by chance, Vudu had a sale, and it wasn't like a virus sale,
right.
Which would be maybe a little tacky, but it was like female action heroes or something like that. And, it stars Juliana Margulies. So it was a 6-episode miniseries that aired on National Geographic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about an American Ebola outbreak that happened in 1989, and this was supposed to be a feature film in the mid 90s, directed by Ridley Scott, and it ultimately fell apart. And it took this long to get the thing made. And Ridley Scott remains a producer on the project, which is kind of nice because I can't imagine he had anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty good. It works in this format. I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't think this would have made for a particularly good movie because the scale of the story is relatively confined, so it allows for diving deeper into character, whereas a feature canvas would require something a little bit bigger.
Sure.
So this is not, oh my God, a whole town has been infected and people are falling left and right. It's not Outbreak.
Okay.
Right. Instead, it's much more the process of discovering a virus and how it's mutating and the steps you take to try to, trace it to its source and things, So very compelling, great performance. I mean, Juliana Margulies is in it, Noah Emmerich, who else is there? Topher Grace. And he does not play the Ebola virus, which is, I thought, a nice twist. Doesn't that seem like something Topher Grace would play? I'm Ebola. I don't know.
That's interesting. Are we uncovering some sort of your view of Topher Grace?
I'm sure he's a lovely person. I don't. It just seems like I just picture Topher Grace in a white T-shirt that says Ebola.
I'm starting to catch up with what I think is in your head now. I can kind of picture it.
Hey,
sort of
Ebola.
That
he touches you. Yeah, you're infected now.
He's got that sort of flat expression on his face.
Yeah,
but hey, yeah, like a little bit of a smirk. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. But he's good. He's good. And I would say it's worth checking out. I think it's 6 episodes, so it's in and out. You know what I mean? It doesn't stick around too long. I think it tells the story that it needed to tell. And it's goddamn terrifying because like it ends with Julian M. Margulies basically like looking right at the camera being like, yeah, so this is going to happen again unless we're ready. Like, no, seriously, y'all, it's going to happen. It's for real. This is Donald Trump. This is going to happen. Basically.
Oh,
you know?
man.
So we laugh because otherwise we'd cry. I mean, it's
Right.
and it was funny because I watched it with my two older kids and now they're just like especially my second one, he's already like just paranoid about everything, this type of stuff. And so I'm like, this is not gonna help. This is not gonna make him more pleasant, you know.
Right. Or it inspires him and he's the one that finds the cure for these sorts of things.
There you go. I like that. There you go. I love how Brian loves my children more than I do, apparently. I'm like, yeah, he's going to suck even worse now. You're like, no, don't you see? He's going to be an example for all of us.
Right.
So that is the Hot Zone. I've been just blazing through stuff. I've been watching stuff with my kids, so this is just going to be me telling you all the stuff I've been watching.
I want to hear it.
So I watched October Sky,
which I've never seen, and I've heard is great.
You would really like October Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is another true story. This has been one of those ones that I've been like, I want to watch this with the boys. I really want to share it with them because I know they're going to like it. And it was like, all right, we're watching this. And they're like, no, we don't want to. I'm like, sit down. Can't go anywhere. Sit your ass down. We're going to watch this. And they loved it.
Really? That's kind of fun.
So drawn in. And I remember watching this in the theater when it came out. I watched it with Sean, in fact. And I remember about halfway through, I have very distinct memories of this, turning to him and just being like, "This movie is so good."
Wow, I'm actually writing it down right now because I don't want to forget this.
Yeah, you should absolutely watch it. I mean, this is Jake Gyllenhaal. It's like his first big anything,
Right.
So good. But this was the first movie I saw Chris Cooper in.
Oh, okay.
Or really that I was aware of Chris Cooper in, and he's fantastic,
Huh.
It's just very sweet,
Yeah, this is Joe Johnston?
Joe Johnston, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a true story about a future rocket scientist for NASA and just what, he grew up in this coal mining town and, just trying to get out of that, not wanting to be part of that life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's something anybody can relate to. But I mean, I to me, the fact that it foregrounds this idea of being of knowledge, like knowledge is the thing that's going to elevate you. And that's something so rare in terms of these types of movies, right? It's always about athletic prowess.
Sure.
And this is saying, math, really worth a look. I think it is timeless. And next on my list, I'm just scratching stuff off, was Count of Monte Cristo from 2002.
Man, I don't think I've seen that one either.
Brian.
I know.
Well, this is good. You got another movie to watch.
Yeah.
This is we mentioned it, I'm pretty sure, during the course of our Robin Hood Prince of Thieves commentary.
Probably. Oh, right. Is this Kevin Reynolds?
Kevin Reynolds directed it. And it is a cliche to say they don't make them like this anymore.
Sure.
But I feel like even when this movie was made, they didn't make them like that anymore,
Right.
It feels very kind of out of time and place in a good way. So this stars Jim Caviezel and Guy Pearce, and it's an adaptation of the novel, but it's very, very different. But I mean, it's just honestly, it's pure escapism,
Mm-hmm.
This is another one. I watched this with Sean when it came out, and
interesting. These movies I haven't seen.
Yes. Well, you were living here. You were here. You were in California.
No, that's true. I'm thinking that. I'm like, oh, these were like kind of my college years. Maybe that's how I missed.
Yeah, you were going to Biola at this time.
Yeah.
Because this is like spring of '02, so you were for sure at Biola.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
Cool. Great. Well, it seems like something I would enjoy. So now I'm eagerly writing these down. Now I have a list for the week.
I know you will like both of those with absolute certainty. Like I know you well enough to say that. And then lastly, I'm trying to find like series for us to go through that we haven't had really a chance to. So we decided to go through the whole Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh, okay. When was the last time you did that?
So I have never watched the films as a trilogy, ever.
Okay, I don't think I have either.
Yeah. So that was kind of my thing. I was like, I want to experience it that way. I want to just all together as one big story. And I have not watched Dark Knight Rises since opening night.
Well, yeah, I think I saw you post that, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, so 8 years ago, in the theater, I watched it at midnight.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow!
And I got a text notification about the shooting, the movie theater shooting.
Right.
And that's all tied into that. We had our little discussion for literally the first episode of this show. And that was it.
Wow. So I'm dying. I want to know the trilogy, how it felt as a trilogy, and then I'm very curious about your Dark Knight Rises thoughts.
So I don't remember how harsh I was back in our first episode, but I remember not being a big fan of the movie, and I would say my view has softened a little bit.
Yeah.
In the sense that, all right, well, this is this version, and they'll just keep coming back to it anyway. They'll keep making different versions, so that allows you to sort of compartmentalize a little bit. I still feel like the first two movies are just very, very strong, and I think the ending is not as powerful as those other two, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I've always, just to throw my little thing, I've said it a million times, but I always felt like it was a really ambitious miniseries that they cut within an inch of its life into a film.
Right, and it's weird because there's so much in it that is genuinely effective.
Time, and it's just a lot.
There's a lot of story, and you realize why, because they took Nightfall, the comic book storyline, where Batman has his back broken, and they stitched it together with No Man's Land, which is where Gotham is cut off from the rest of the country, and they stitched that together with The Dark Knight Returns, which is about an older Batman coming out of retirement. So there's three distinct stories that you're trying to turn into a Frankenstein monster while making a sequel to The Dark Knight.
Right.
So on the one hand, you say, well, that's like golf clap for that ambition. But, maybe your eyes are bigger than your stomach.
Right.
Because it's a lot to cover, and it does. I said this, and I took a little grief for it, but I said this on social media. I felt like Nolan wasn't all into it. Like it feels to me like, and I have no idea. Maybe Heath Ledger passing away had something to do with it. Maybe he just didn't feel it, But it became a situation where Warner Brothers is like, we really want you to do this, and he's like, well, fine, I'm going to do whatever I want. You can't stick your little fingers into my movie. So he made a good film because Christopher Nolan makes good films, but I don't know if he was really into it. You know what I mean?
In the way that you can just feel it in every frame of The Dark Knight, like he was passionate about what he was doing. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
If I can make an analogy, like. It's like the difference between Spielberg doing Jurassic Park and The Lost World.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? And I look at The Lost World and I'm like, clearly he's not engaged the same way he was with Jurassic Park, but Spielberg on a bad day is still eminently watchable. Right?
Yeah. And I think you're stating this so clearly, and well, I entirely understand what you're saying, and I think I agree.
And to me, that's The Dark Knight. I think there's so many pieces of it that I genuinely like. I think the opening scene with Bane on the plane is so good. The first fight with Bane underground is great. When he climbs out of the pit, that's awesome.
I love that moment.
Right? I mean, there's so many. Like it's impossible for me to be like, well, it's not worth watching. I think it absolutely is. And I think, again, the 8 years of distance, plus really watching it with my kids as one experience, allows me to just be like, it's fine, it's good. It's like, it's absolutely worth watching. I I think it's totally fine. I don't think The Dark Knight Rises is as good as The Dark Knight, but that's more just because The Dark Knight is like alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, so it's like if the Dark Knight is an A, and The Dark Knight Rises is like a B. Let's say I think I gave it like a B minus. Well, a B or B minus is still pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with that.
That's cool. And what did you think of Batman Begins into The Dark Knight? Did those feel cohesive? I kind of remember Batman Begins feeling slightly otherworldly at times. Just
Yes.
I think the way that Gotham is sort of presented.
Yes.
It's a very brown kind of movie. And I remember him saying Blade Runner was an influence. So there's just like this one degree of fantastical thrown in there, but then Dark Knight goes straight into like Blue City, Chicago. It's like a little different.
Yeah, I think, and hopefully we'll get to talk about this more later in the year because I'd still love to do a commentary track for Batman Begins.
Mm-hmm.
I think Batman Begins is the most comic booky, right? And I think Nolan was still beholden to our expectations of what a comic book origin is supposed to look like.
Sure.
Right? And then essentially with each installment, he felt more free to just do his thing, you know?
Right.
And so I think in a way, I mean, it's we start out with like the iconic Batman origin, and then we end up at the end of the trilogy with his personal ending for Batman. So it's almost like the scope narrows, you know, because Batman Begins could be the beginning of any version of Batman. Like that's the iconic Batman origin. Mm-hmm. It does it so well you never have to do it again.
Right.
But The Dark Knight Rises is a story that could only be Christopher Nolan's Batman. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
You know? So I enjoyed the experience, and like I always appreciate being able to watch with the kids because it's just so helpful to just put my own, you know, because I went into the theater with all my baggage. Mm-hmm. And
oh, sure,
right. And for them, it's just like, no, this is this Batman. They just in their lifetimes there have been, you know, or they're on their third Batman already. You know.
Wait, I have a question then. So for your kids, particularly maybe the middle children, how do they respond to The Dark Knight versus how do they respond to like Batman Forever?
I mean, that's the interest. They're just like, well, that's that Batman, and that's that Batman.
Right. So it's the one that's maybe a little more colorful. It doesn't have as many people in suits walking down hallways talking. Like they don't. Yeah. Like they're equally as drawn into either.
I mean, think about it. They have watched the Adam West show and they enjoy that. Mm-hmm. They have watched the animated series. They like that.
Right.
They've watched all 4 of those 80s, 90s movies. And they've watched the Dark Knight trilogy. So for all they know of Batman is it's a concept that keeps reinventing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think that's helpful for us grumpy grown-ups sometimes.
Sure.
To just accept reinvention as baked into the cake and be able to just put all these things in their little boxes.
Right.
You know? And that's kind of, I mean, I remember being young a long time ago. Right? And we would have a tendency, maybe this is just me, but it's like, oh, I like this Michael Keaton Batman now, so I can't like that Adam West one now.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
I like this now, so I can't like that, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, maybe that's just because there was less of all of this stuff back then, so...
Right, so it became a decision.
Yes, right?
Yeah, either or.
Yeah, so... that was fine. It's literally just this morning. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but I was like, "Hey guys, you know, let's like start another trilogy or something. What can we watch?" And I was like, "Hey, how about Back to the Future? You guys haven't seen those in a while, and we're watching it." And these kids have seen Back to the Future. I mean, shit, since the cradle, right? Mm-hmm. But they're old enough now, finally, and it's been long enough where they're picking up on the stuff. That you appreciate the older you get. So just this morning, Hamza, my oldest, is like, hey, it says Lone Pine Mall. Look at that.
Oh, that's fun.
And that was my, like, that was my moment of just like Mr. Miyagi at the end of Karate Kid, you know?
Smiling.
Yeah.
Nodding. Yes. That's great.
You know, so that's one upside of being holed up in the house is we're getting to claw stuff off the old to-do list in terms of movies.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah. So there.
Yeah.
How about we take a little break and we come back and talk through some listener letters, and we got a little bit of headline stuff to talk about.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, and we're back. We got a couple listener letters here before we move forward to talk about the headlines. And there are actually a few headlines, even though there's like nothing actually going on. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Actually, and real quick, before we even get to the letters, I wanted to mention that Rob Kelly had pointed out to us a few weeks ago. We were talking about the movie Awakenings.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I mentioned that, it's directed by Barry Levinson. And it is, in fact, not directed by Barry Levinson. It's directed by Penny Marshall.
Right.
So I don't know what movie I was thinking of that's directed by Barry Levinson.
It's funny because when you said it, I actually haven't seen Awakenings, but it felt right. Like through like a fuzzy sort of filter. I'm like, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I wonder. But yeah, Penny Marshall, of course.
That was Penny Marshall, and you know, I think here's what happened. Awakenings came out the same year as Rain Man. Mm-hmm. That's directed by Barry Levinson. And meanwhile, Awakenings starred Robin Williams, who was in Good Morning Vietnam. Mm-hmm. So I did like a weird, like the Jeff Goldblum fly mutation, where I mixed those together. But I did want to correct the record and say that, of course, the late great Penny Marshall.
Right.
So this is a letter we got from Marshall on Twitter, and he says, I'd love to listen to you guys talk about film scores. Not your favorites, but the most memorable or impactful from an emotional standpoint. Podcasters never go deep on scores, and I don't know, maybe on a slow news week? Well, your ship has come in, Marshall. And he says, anyway, thanks again for all the free, funny entertainment.
Oh, thanks, Marshall.
So go ahead, Brian.
Off the top of my head, I don't think this has been the most influential, but certainly one of the most impactful. I would say The Rocketeer. James Horner. That was a big one for me.
Good choice.
Yeah, I mean, it almost seems obvious, but Batman, Danny Elfman, Edward Scissorhands, John Williams, of course, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, all those. But yeah, I think the one that doesn't seem as obvious, but yeah, the Rocketeer was a big one for me.
So
James Horner.
Staying in the James Horner superhero vein, I'm going to say The Mask of Zorro, which is a fantastic score.
I should look that up. I'm certain I would recall it if I heard it, but I cannot think of it off the top of my head. I'm thinking of that song first, right? The Bryan Adams and yeah.
No, it wasn't Bryan Adams. It was oh geez, what's his name? Mark Anthony.
It's like three people, right? Or am I thinking of a different song?
You're thinking of All for One.
Actually, I'm thinking have you ever really ever loved a woman?
That's not from a movie, is it?
What is that? Is that like from Don Juan or something like that?
I truly have no idea.
Nah. Sorry, guys.
You had Bryan Adams, Rod Stewart, and Sting do All for Love for Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Mask of Zorro was like 5 years after that.
Okay.
But James Horner score, fantastic. I was actually just on Twitter. I was talking about how Alan Silvestri does not get enough credit for the Avengers theme.
Totally. Sure.
Like when I look at the iconic themes of the last 20 years, truly, there's only like three I think of where like you could play it for a lay person, they'd probably know what it is. One is Silvestri's Avengers theme. One is the Fellowship music by Howard Shore, and then like the Harry Potter John Williams music.
Sure.
I can't think of anything since 2000 that has that level of just instant recognizability.
Possibly The Dark Knight, I would imagine.
Possibly. I agree with that. Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah. Alan Silvestri, man. Yeah, he I mean, obviously he is beloved, but yeah, he should be included in more conversations than he is. I mean, Back to the Future, of course. You know what? Another one for me was Who Framed Roger Rabbit growing up. I really loved that score.
That's another Silvestri one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very manic kind of,
yes.
I mean, propulsive, driving, sort of wacky score. It's so good. Well, so befitting of that movie.
Silvestri, like, Back to the Future, so like mid-'80s to like early 90s, had a specific kind of sound.
Totally, which I love. Predator, all that.
Predator, I mean, if you listen to Predator, it sounds like Back to the Future. But his style has evolved.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, we have talked about this enough times that it feels like composers have moved away from really powerful thematic material.
And almost even their own voices.
Yes.
Speaking of, you know what I mean? It's like they've sort of like, well, what do scores sound like now? I'll just do that.
Yeah, like Danny Elfman's a good example.
That was exactly who I was about to bring up. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. It's and Danny Elfman is still making good music. But it's harder to pick out of a lineup.
Yeah, I think the one, I'm sure it happened before this, but when he did the Terminator Salvation score,
yes,
I was like, ooh, that's interesting. And then when I heard it, I was like, this could have been anybody.
It could have been anybody. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, The Rocketeer is an interesting one because, yeah, that's definitely one of my, like, that's the ones that come up on shuffle all the time for me.
I remember having that cassette.
Yeah, that's right. You know, the first soundtrack I ever bought, and it was on tape, it was Back to the Future 2.
Oh, cool. Interesting.
And then shortly after, I got the original soundtrack, the score soundtrack of Batman.
Yep, I remember having that cassette, and yeah, oh man. That was a big time for scores for me, like the late 80s, early 90s.
Yep.
I mean, I remember The Last Crusade cassette.
Yep, had that too.
Scissorhands on cassette. I had all that stuff. Rocketeer, yeah. Great.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that answers Marshall's question, and I'll just throw this out to the people listening. I mean, what are your go-to, scores that you put on? You know, like Marshall said, for that you consider powerful from an emotional standpoint.
I'd love to hear what Marshall has to say.
Yeah. One thought about James Horner. I mean, he was so ubiquitous in the 90s. Like, you can point to so many of his scores that, like, I've been thinking about how, I mean, he's been gone for, like, what, 5 years at this point? 5 years now, almost?
Right.
It just, I miss his music.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
I mean, Braveheart and Titanic were, like, I mean, just, that was homework music for me. Yeah.
Apollo 13, Clear Present Danger, you name it, you know?
Yep.
Anyway, here's a question that was posed to us or more of a request via Jason Thorwall on Facebook, and he says this is his ask for episode 200, which is coming up. He says, "I want a supercut of all the things Zachy has said about his kids across 200 episodes, and video of them listening to said supercut." Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, they know about the show. They know it exists.
I've never asked about this. Yeah, what do they know about the show? I mean, do they have any interest whatsoever, or do they just know you sort of retreat for about 2 hours once a week? And
I mean, you know, the show is on Spotify and various other channels, right? So for them, it's just part of my, like, public persona. And it was very funny, actually, because my third one, about a year or so ago, he saw it on Spotify. He's like, "Wait, are you famous?" I was like, "No, I'm just on Spotify." I was like, that doesn't mean anything, you know? Right. So they, and I occasionally will play little bits for my wife or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, they've never done the deep dive. But, I mean, I guess it's there waiting for them once I'm gone. Not to put like a morbid.
Well, one day they'll all gather around and they'll be wearing pea coats for some reason. And they'll be like, "Hey, let's put this on." And I'm imagining like an old cassette player like putting this cassette in and listening to all your episodes.
That's I I don't know. I don't know what how they would process this stuff. I mean, they know what I do. They know my job.
Sure.
They know I go to movies early. They know I talk to people. They know all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But
they've been right to a couple of
they've
those.
been to plenty of screenings. They've gotten to meet some well-known people, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I would hope they know whenever I talk about them, and it's always joking. It's said with love. It's all love.
Oh yeah. And I think especially as you get older too, you realize how you joke about the ones you love.
Yes. So that's very funny. Obviously, Jason's been listening long enough where he knows that,
Right.
This is one of that might as well be a separate segment of the show, which is just Zachy, just shits on his kids.
If there's ever an episode where I'm sick or something, I would love to hear them with you, like you and the Brood.
Oh, goodness.
An episode of that.
That would be something. Yeah. All right. Well, we have some headlines.
Yeah.
Moving on. So we're talking about the impact of COVID-19, and we were being somewhat lighthearted early on, but as we've said, I mean, there is a human cost here, and I don't know. This one really hit home for me. This is Adam Schlesinger, who is he of Fountains of Wayne, passed away yesterday. He was 52.
52.
So this, go ahead.
No, I mean, this one hit pretty hard. I mean, I've when That Thing You Do came out, that song is just
so
genius.
Good. Yep.
And then I was like, okay, whoever wrote this, I want to know what else they've written. Like, I want to hear the modern equivalent of what this person does. And so I sought him out, and then I found Fountains of Wayne in, I'd say, probably 1996 or whatever it was. And I've been a fan of theirs ever since. Like, I have all their albums. And so, and I know people are somewhat familiar with them, but they've been one of my favorite bands for years and years. So in a weird sort of way, it's like almost felt like my fun personal sort of thing. And, so I really felt a connection with this guy and just was a huge admirer of his. And it was, when celebrities pass, you have different sorts of reactions. And sometimes it's like, oh man, that's a bummer. Or, sometimes it's like a Robin Williams and you're like, oh man, like I didn't know the guy, but you just feel like you want to cry. And I would say this for me was one of the more personal sort of celebrity passings that really, really stung pretty hard.
Yeah. And for all the, over the last several weeks of like, oh, if you're young, it's not a big deal, whatever. It's like, I mean, 52 is young enough where you don't expect to get a headline like this.
No, I mean, it feels like we still have a lot to learn about how this thing affects different people.
Yes.
But yeah, I just wanted to do a brief little thing just to say, 'cause I mean, I was a huge fan of this guy's work. And if you haven't listened to Fountains of Wayne, I highly recommend them. There's just his songwriting is so good. And just so many brilliant songs like Sink to the Bottom, Survival Car, Hey Julie. Like, look up their albums, the self-titled debut, Utopia Parkway, Welcome Interstate Managers. I really think you'll probably like it. And also I was just talking about this the other day with my girlfriend. We were talking about That Thing You Do, just because we were just talking about it. And I was like, he wrote the greatest oldie that never existed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
This is just a mini paragraph, but I wanted to read it from Rolling Stone because I thought it encapsulated it so well. It said, this is the Rolling Stone piece. It said, about That Thing You Do, the song. It's the hardest conceivable songwriting assignment. Write a hit now. And not only that, write a hit that believably could take a band from local talent shows to touring nationwide. And oh yeah, write it in the precise idiom of an American garage band in the year 1964 and make it good enough that you can actually imagine it on the radio next to the Beatles. And he said he did it so well. It feels like he incepted the song into actual pop history. Yeah. And I mean, that's just one brilliant song that he wrote. And then he has this whole other catalog that I think it's treasures. I think it's treasures for people waiting to find. So yeah.
He will be missed. I also wanted to, this is very random, but earlier this week, so when I was a kid, there was a British comedy variety show that used to come on the BBC called Little and Large. And it was hosted by two comedians, Sid Little and Eddie Large. And with those are stage names, obviously, but it works.
Sure.
It works pretty well.
I was actually just thinking, how perfect.
I guess we got to be partners, like, you know.
Right.
And they had a very funny sketch where each of them, one dressed up like Vanilla Ice, one dressed up like MC Hammer, and they did like a rap battle.
Sure.
Which, as I think about it, you could never do that now because he was in like blackface, basically.
I was just wondering. Actually,
yeah.
That was,
but it was very funny, and so I was on YouTube just to see if I could find that, and then you know how it is, you end up like going down this rabbit hole, and I'm like, what are those guys up to? And then I was on Wikipedia reading about Little and Large and seeing what both of them have been up to. This is today's Thursday, so this is Tuesday. This morning I wake up and it says Eddie Large, comedian, dies age 78 with coronavirus.
Oh.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, no joke, less than 48 hours ago, I was reading his Wikipedia page.
Wow.
I mean, isn't that something? I mean, just the sheer what are the odds of that?
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, and I also read about Alan Merrill, who was the co-writer of the song "I Love Rock and Roll."
Yes, yeah, I just saw that too.
With COVID-19, it's just like, I mean, every loss we've had from this is a tragedy, but it's just in some weird sort of way when it's faces that we recognize or that have touched us personally, even through like a distance, it just really, really amplifies what's going on, and it just brings it home in a unique sort of way.
In a unique way, yeah, that's the best way to put it. Yeah. So in addition to obviously the very real human cost, there is a business cost that's playing out in real time in the entertainment industry with I mean in any number of ways. I mean we said this last time. I mean what the entertainment industry looks like on the flip side of this, I don't think anybody knows.
Mm-hmm. I know. And it's been sort of interesting to watch how people react, right? Like I sort of was looking at this where there are certain things where they're pushing things up and there's some sort of decision making behind that, and then there's other movies and releases that are being pushed back, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things being pushed up is the ESPN Bulls documentary The Last Dance.
Yes.
Which I've been talking about. This was one of my most anticipated viewing experiences of the year. I apparently during their last championship run, the Bulls allowed a camera crew, like a film crew, to follow them in like an unprecedented manner. And this is the result. And it's a 10 episode, so 10-hour documentary. And it was supposed to debut in June, but they've pushed it up till to April 19th. So I was watching the trailer for this with my kids yesterday, and I was trying to explain to them what it meant to be the Bulls, what it meant to be in Chicago. Yes.
While this was happening, like it was this cultural moment that you just can't explain,
I mean, the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan period in the 90s around the world, and then what it meant to be in Chicago while that was happening.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to try to explain.
Yeah. However,
that said, I'm very much looking forward to to reliving it. Yeah,
very much so. But my thought is, what have they been doing for 22 years
with that footage?
Yes. Did they just find it in a closet?
I had that same thought. I know. I mean, they had to even know then that they had gold on their hands. Like, what were they doing?
I mean, doesn't that seem like the thing you put out like the next year?
Yeah, and then it becomes, after the championship, that they'd always have that commercial like, get the video cassette of the Bulls championship run. Yeah.
So that
Time Warner, Time Life books.
That's my question. Is I'm like, did they just forget they did this?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Hopefully, someone will do an interview with him. I'd like to know.
So this is going to debut in like 2 weeks.
Wow. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So they made they're like, well, people are home anyway, and
That's what's funny, right? Where you think about these calculations, obviously it makes sense to push theatrical films back because we literally can't go to theaters. But the thought of like, well, why wait? People are at home now. Like we have eyeballs.
Right.
And so let's just push all this stuff that they can see in their homes up right now.
Yeah.
So,
on that same note, there's an upcoming miniseries coming up on CNN called "The Story of Late Night."
Ooh, I'd like to watch that.
Yeah, this is like right up both of our alley. It's just, I mean, it's right there. It's the history of late night TV from like Steve Allen to now.
I can't even tell you. This is like the third time I've clicked my pen to write down something you've told me that I want to watch.
Yeah, I don't know when that's coming, but it is coming up on CNN. So that's another one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, same.
However, now you talk about things getting pushed up. That's the minority because the vast majority of things are getting pushed way back.
Yep.
So let's go down the list here, Brian. What basically summer movie season no longer exists in this dojo.
Correct. I'm seeing a few things. I guess like Wonder Woman is being pushed to August.
Yeah.
Quiet Place 2 is going to Labor Day. Top Gun is going all the way to December, and I believe something you sent me yesterday said Sony's basically going, their whole list is going to next year.
Yeah, Sony just collectively threw up their hands and they're like, wake us up in 2021.
Which is, it's kind of interesting to me because, at this moment in time, I'd say all of this is just totally unknown. I was going to say super unknown, but it made me think of Soundgarden. It's totally unknown. And I wonder, like, Wonder Woman in August, is that just sort of like a thing to placate shareholders? Because we don't know what August looks like at this point. Like, I mean, we really hope we're going to be out of our homes and back in restaurants and doing whatever. But do we feel like at that point, enough people are going to feel comfortable returning to theaters to make it worth it to put this huge investment out?
Right.
Like, we don't really know. And even Labor Day is like, maybe that feels like possible, but putting Wonder Woman in August feels like, are we sure, or is this just something we're saying to sort of say something?
I had that exact thought. What has been happening for the past month, and what's going to continue for the next several months, is a concerted effort at practicing physical distance, right? And we've reached a point. I don't know about you, but when I watch television and I see people shaking hands, I kind of wince a little bit.
Isn't it crazy? I wonder how long. I mean, is this just what we're going to feel like? Oh, that movie. You see like an outdated sort of inappropriate joke or something like, oh, well, it's a different time. And now when we see people hugging or you'd be like, I was a different time.
A couple weeks ago, I was watching Batman Returns, and there's the scene where Catwoman licks Batman's face. I'm like, what are you doing?
That's so perfect.
Like, it was like so sexy at one time in the weird. Right. Now you're like, oh my god,
trying to kill him.
Yeah. So the point is, you don't just switch it off and be like, all right, let's all just be like up each other's asses now in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so to the point you're making, I maybe we're at a point collectively where we relax certain things by August, but I have a feeling that the vast majority of people would just as soon not go to a crowded movie theater
for quite a while. This whole thing, I've thought about this even on the, when you go out for walks and you're passing someone on the sidewalk.
Yeah,
it felt weird to me, like rude, to step out of their way or to create the distance. But that's just become normal, and it's, in my experience, we both get to opposite sides of the sidewalk. We smile at each other and we keep going. And so if we're doing that, I mean, how long till we even want to shake hands with anyone anymore? How long till we want to sit next to a stranger in a movie theater? Like, it's
weird, right?
It is. And no one can know how long this is going to last, so I don't know. Or maybe they open theaters. Like I said, the last experience I had was every other row was taped off. So maybe that's the way we sort of slowly ease people back into feeling comfortable, or I don't know.
So with that in mind, I feel like a lot of stuff is getting kicked down the curb to August, and I don't even mean just like, I just read that the Democratic Convention is going to be in August now,
right?
But like, that's far enough away to be like, oh, we'll do it then,
right? Yeah. That's sure.
Right. But regardless, I think Warner Brothers Warner Brothers had 3 big movies for the rest of the year. They had Wonder Woman, Tenet, and Dune.
Oh, Dune. I forgot about Dune. Wow.
Yeah, like, I don't know if they've said what's going to happen with Dune, but if I were to guess, I think Tenet gets kicked to December.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe Wonder Woman stays. Maybe they push Wonder Woman to like November if need be.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling moving stuff around isn't going to be a problem because there's going to be a lot of vacant dates.
That's a good point. And, even saying, when you said Tenet in December, that just gave me like a feeling that I cannot quite put into words, but sort of it's the end of the year. We've been through a lot. Let's go do something that we used to love doing. I can sort of see that feels right.
Yeah.
You're putting these big movies out sort of at the end of the year where we can sort of exhale a bit. Not too close, but
I mean, well, so Dune is currently scheduled for December of this year.
Okay.
And if Warner Brothers is looking to have, like, I'm looking forward to Dune.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to be a blockbuster.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. That doesn't feel like a December movie to me.
But it makes sense if you're coming off of a strong year that includes a Wonder Woman and Tenet.
True.
So, I don't know. Plus, a Scoob that was supposed to come out this summer.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to guess, I think Dune gets pushed to 2021, and either Wonder Woman or Tenet gets the December slot.
Yeah, that feels right.
Wonder Woman, to be honest, feels like a December movie.
Yeah, I could see that. And you don't have a Star Wars anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then as of just a couple hours ago, Top Gun, which that was holding the line for a while because that was supposed to come out, I think, late July.
Mm.
And then that's now end of the year.
Yeah, that I can totally see the family. When my parents come out here, that's something I'm sure we will go see.
Yeah,
come December, that feels like a good December movie.
I really need to revisit the first Top Gun. I think we've talked about this before. Like you were never part of that Top Gun fandom in the same way, right?
No, not in its time. Like it was sort of presented to me by my friends who were fans, and I get it, and I enjoy it enough. But yeah, I was never there with it when it happened.
Yeah, my older brother, he's 5 years older, so he was just a Top Gun fanatic. So I got pulled along,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I mean, I haven't watched the whole thing through since probably the early 90s.
Yeah, the last time I saw it was actually on the USS Midway in San Diego.
Wow.
You can go on the carrier, and they have all these actual, planes and things you can sort of climb on and through, and then they screen the movie, and you get to watch it on there, and that was a really fun experience.
That would be a fun way to watch it, I would think.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that would be, if you were ever down here, take the kids. It's a blast.
Huh. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
So those are the release dates that are currently in flux. Like we said, Sony just pretty much moved everything.
Mm-hmm.
Morbius is next year. Peter Rabbit, which my kids were really looking forward to that one. They love the first Peter Rabbit.
Is it good?
It is good. It is good. Yeah.
I have to admit the Part 2 trailer made me laugh when I saw it in the theater.
I think I think it is good. I haven't seen the second one obviously, but the first one, it's sweet, and I think James Corden can potentially be not particularly enjoyable to spend time with.
Mm-hmm. That was really well. Yeah.
I think this is the right amount of James Corden at the right, at the right concentration.
I'm very much enjoying this. Yes.
I'm saying it's like I'm worried he's going to listen to this.
No, right.
But Donald Gleason is just very charming.
Yeah. He was making me laugh.
Yeah, he's very like this is a nice role for him because we're sort of most people know him from like obviously General Hux from Star Wars, but also like what is it, like Ex Machina,
Sure, right, yeah.
and this is just it's very charming, and it's a good kids movie. It works on the same level as like Paddington or something.
Mm-hmm.
So those are all coming next year. So
cool. Well,
see what happens.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Whenever they do come.
Whenever they do come. So I am hearing some music, Brian. So I think that means The world may stop, but Star Wars news still goes on.
Yeah, well, as you say, Star Wars marches on. So I guess Mandalorian is where we're at now, because the movies, we've been told, well, that's another thing too, right? We've been told that there's one coming maybe in 2 years or so. We'll see if that actually happens now. But Mandalorian, we're still getting updates. Had they started filming, by the way? We're getting casting news. But
I don't believe they were filming. I feel like we would have heard that.
Okay. Well, it's looks like they've got like a cool 80s veteran that we love, right? Possibly joining the cast. Michael Biehn. Kyle Reese himself.
Yeah, I feel like, casting Carl Weathers in the first season, casting Michael Biehn, and so you can tell where the casting sensibility is coming from.
Yeah, they're like, do you like it, Brian and Zacky's demographic?
Yeah, right.
Do you like what we're doing?
You know what? I just want to put this out into the ether. Let's get Elias Koteas in here somewhere.
Dude, let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's will it to happen.
Right. But I can see it, and I'm like all about it. I haven't seen him in a while, though. Has he? I know he's continued to work. He's done sort of like like VOD sort of thing and whatnot. Yes. But I haven't seen him in a while.
Well, I saw him in person about less than a year ago
Oh, that's right. I remember that picture you posted.
Yeah, he was very nice. He was so lovely to my kids.
Oh, that's great. Good.
And yeah, just I was like I like the Terminator. That was basically it was just a lot of that, Yeah. Remember when you're in the Terminator? Remember that?
Right.
That was basically me. Yeah, anything that gets Michael Biehn out into something visible, I am all about it.
Yeah, I'm surprised we don't see him more. I mean, even just in series or something, him being some sort of regular, even like a Hawaii Five-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe we will now.
It feels a little bit like Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni or maybe both. They're like, it's like when Seth MacFarlane put Adam West in Family Guy.
Yes.
Like, oh, I love Adam West. Let's find a role for him. It feels like that. Like, oh, I love Michael Biehn. Let's put him in here. So you say, oh, Michael Bihn's playing a bounty hunter. Well, I can imagine what that looks like.
Totally. Yeah.
Right?
I'm just picturing him in Aliens, really.
Yeah, basically. Right. Exactly. So bring it.
Yeah.
Although, do we have a delivery date for season 2 of Mandalorian? Do we know?
I don't know.
I would assume next fall, probably, right?
Yeah. I feel like in my mind, I remember it being like, coming in 2021 or something,
I mean, they're saying October of 2020.
Oh, 2020. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant.
But I'm wondering, were they done shooting? If they're announcing Michael Biehn is in it right now, is it like, oh, by the way, he was in it and it was kept secret? Or is it, oh, they've added him to the cast?
Yeah. I'm not sure. But by the way, that reminds me, and this is not Star Wars news, but it does fall under Disney news. But did you see that they replaced the composer for Black Widow?
I did see that.
Isn't that kind of interesting? Like, I mean, that movie was coming out in about a month. And you wonder if they were like, well, we'll just live with this, and now they're like, yeah, no, let's do that. Let's change it.
Well, what's interesting to me, Brian, is that the new composer they've brought in is Lorne Balfe, who's replacing Alexander Desplat,
right?
Who had the same thing happen?
Yes,
with Rogue One.
That's right.
And that's weird to me because I'm like, well, I like this guy's music.
I love his music. He does good stuff, but it's funny. The music that I love from him is less bombastic action films, right? Like I think of like Grand Budapest Hotel and those sorts of things. I think he did. Oh shoot, this is so obvious. Oh, Little Women, and I remember it sort of sticking out to me, and then I saw his name in the credits, and I was like, oh right, of course. So it seems like he's being replaced on these big action films, whatever that means. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm not familiar with Lorne Balfe's, like I can't really wrap my arms around anything he's done. I think
he did a lot of really brassy, because I do love what he's done with the Mission Impossible scores. The last couple were,
but he only
talking about homework scores earlier. They were work scores for me.
He only did Fallout though. That's the only one he's done.
Oh, that's funny. I remember that one. Oh, that's interesting that they're different because I do remember both of them being pretty good.
Yeah, see, like I liked the music in Fallout, but I don't have the soundtrack of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm surely fine, like.
Oh, totally.
I think the fact that they made that substitution at this late game tells me that they weren't happy with the music and they were just willing to just deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we have. You think you've heard the last of trying to fill in the gaps for Rise of Skywalker?
Jeez.
Oh no. Oh no. Which, by the way, before we even get to this, I watched that documentary. I don't remember what it's called, but that came with the digital release. It's like a feature length.
The Skywalker Legacy
making of. Yes, I loved it.
So good.
So good. I really love that. It seems sometimes with these bigger movies, with behind the scenes, that for a while you just get a lot of talking heads talking about how brilliant it is working with this person or that person, and nothing went wrong and whatever. And I really appreciate these really fly on the wall, like seeing JJ kind of working out problems and really taking its time to show us a scene being shot from behind the camera so we can get an idea of what the scope was, and a lot of getting into the nuts and bolts even of the departments, right? And what the different crew do and their roles, and it's just kind of fun. Like there's that moment, at the beginning when Rey is doing her training and she runs up that log and leaps.
Yeah.
And it's just a thing, and then she lands, and then we move on. But we watched that moment with the stunt coordinator and a couple takes of it, and you're like, wow, just movies. I love this.
Yeah. Well, and specifically the way we get into the headspace of the stunt coordinator, and how I was thinking about, I was like, like you said, like when we watch the movie, it's like, oh, that's the thing, and it happens, and we move on. But like that one sequence represents, 6 weeks of work for this one person.
Yes. And like down to how she's supposed to do it, what her body should look like. Like she's considering the character.
Yes.
There's just so much. Everyone's doing their jobs and putting 100% into it, and it was fun seeing them do that.
And for that stunt coordinator, when she watches it in the theater opening night, that one thing, she's like, that's mine right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. So, yeah, highly recommended. But anyway, so there was more from JJ, right?
Yes. This poor bastard. I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't even say poor, because I think all the money he's going to make off these movies forever makes everything else worth it. I would assume. But like, he's in this very unenviable position where I have to imagine that right now JJ is answering questions about the movie, and he's realizing he will be doing this until he dies. Yes. And I would think that's not a pleasant thought.
Yeah, and I have to imagine, we talked about this a couple months ago when there were those sort of quote unquote leaks about the behind the scenes things that were going on, and how, and I would imagine that they weren't 100% true, but I would imagine there were kernels of truth in there, and I'm certain, JJ was brought in way later in the game than he should have been for this movie, and he was probably rushed, and what he put out, he probably was like, oh, yeah, I mean, with a little more time, we might have worked this better, just the script, just all sorts of things, right? So I'm sure there's a lot of those things that are already nagging at him, but then when you have people constantly asking him about these wounds, I'm sure he'd love to just, like, let heal and,
just move on.
Yeah, that sucks. I do feel bad for him.
So this is in this book. It's The Art of the Rise of Skywalker. Mm-hmm. And here's J.J. Abrams talking about the fact that they brought back Palpatine in The Rise of Skywalker in the body of a clone, which is not something that's stated to the best of my recollection, in the film, I don't think.
It's all implied through visuals, right? Where you see these, like, I guess to quote that Honest trailer, like the pickled versions of Snoke on the charts and everything. So you're like, okay, so some cloning thing is happening here. I guess if I were to put two and two together, that's possibly what's happened here with Palpatine.
Yeah, and I think what's his name? Dominic Monaghan says something like, "Oh, Sith, dark sciences, cloning." So, they just kind of put it out there. But J.J. Abrams says that he talked with George Lucas before writing the Rise of Skywalker script, and this is the quote from J.J. Abrams in the book. He says, "In my conversations with George Lucas, he mentioned how the Emperor was a clone in Return of the Jedi. And I thought it would be a beautiful way to connect all three trilogies and bring it full circle. In each trilogy, they go up against a new Palpatine clone."
And you know what? I can see it.
Yes.
But we didn't have enough there. Like, we would never know that without this book, right?
Yes. So here's the thing, okay? Let's imagine that George Lucas did not sell to Disney, okay? Uh-huh. And this is just a quote from George Lucas about his Star Wars. And he's like, yeah, in Return of the Jedi, it's actually Palpatine's clone in that movie, right? Mm-hmm. People would be like, God damn it, George.
That's so true, yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I fully believe that George Lucas said that.
Yes.
That fits in what we've come to know of the man.
Right.
Remember, George Lucas kept McClunky in his back pocket.
That's right.
So I fully believe that. However, J.J. Abrams is not doing himself any favors here.
Right.
Because it's just, look, there's just no, I don't know. At some point, you just got to be like, I don't know.
Right.
I truly, I just, this is beating a dead horse, but I just don't understand how, if you are Disney, you don't, when this whole thing is started, you don't say, lay out your 3-movie arc.
Yes. We'll be saying this till the end of time.
Forever. How do you not say, give me your beginning, middle, end? What's the first scene? What's the last scene of these 3 movies?
Yeah.
I truly do not understand that.
Yeah, and it's almost like they had in mind, like, well, we'll bring in these notable, interesting filmmakers with voices, and who are we to tell them what they can do with Star Wars? And to that, I'd be like, no. Star Wars is bigger than all of them.
Yes.
Like, you are I don't care who you are. Right. You are beholden to Star Wars. And I think that was one of their greatest mistakes.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So that everything, all this stuff, the novel has revealed this, and this behind the scenes book revealed. I'm like, that's all fine. Like, I truly, if that's great, I'm glad it's out there. But if it matters, you got to put that in the movie.
Yeah, I don't think we had talked about it, but that Honest trailer was pretty good. It was
very funny.
And as someone who did still enjoy myself with the film,
yes,
you know what I mean? But it's very, they were on fire in that one.
there was a very funny thing in there where it's like Harrison Ford, who couldn't even bother getting the same haircut,
right? Yeah. Which I didn't even really think about, but right. It was so funny.
Yeah. And I think we did the math. Like, he was probably filming or had just wrapped filming The Call of the Wild.
Yeah. I think you and I both sort of Googled his look in that. We're like, oh, yeah. Shaggy.
Well, speaking of The Call of the Wild, that wraps up Star Wars news. But why don't we take a short break? And you and I both saw some new releases, even though they're not in theaters.
We did.
So maybe we can talk about those. So let's take a short break. We'll come back right after this. And we are back, and hey, we got some new movies to talk about, Brian.
We do.
Who knew?
Both of these were in theaters just a couple weeks ago.
So it counts.
Mm-hmm.
They essentially, what we're seeing is a lot of these very, very recent releases. They're just quickly putting them on to on demand, mm-hmm, and letting people buy or what have you. And I'm actually curious, longitudinally, how this is going to pay off for the studios. Are people more likely to purchase movies that are more or rent or whatever, if it means staying home? Yeah,
I think this move made sense because these were movies that were already in the theater, it's not like we were going to hit pause and then in several months when we go back, we're going to be like, oh yeah, put Call of the Wild back in the theater.
Yes.
We'll show up. So it made, when they were saying they didn't want to put Wonder Woman out into homes yet, I was like, yeah, that totally makes sense.
Right.
But for these films, like they were just, their shelf life was cut off right away. And so this is the only thing they could do, in my opinion.
Right.
It was kind of an interesting novelty to be able to watch them immediately at home.
So we're talking about Call of the Wild and Bloodshot.
Right.
And I don't know, man, which of these do you want to talk about first?
I don't know. I guess Bloodshot has more spoilers, right? So I mean, maybe we can, right?
Yeah.
Maybe start with Call of the Wild.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
Have you ever read the book, by the way?
I mean, when I was a kid, yeah.
I never did.
I read the book when I was a kid, and I really enjoyed it. And, probably in the early 90s, it must have been on Saudi TV now that I think about it. I saw the movie version starring Charlton Heston.
Okay.
And, the book Call of the Wild, I mean, it's right there in the title, right? It's about this domesticated dog who gradually works his way into nature ultimately, right? Mm-hmm. So meeting a series of masters and then ultimately realizing he doesn't need humans anymore. Mm-hmm. And I remember watching the Chuck Heston version, and he plays John Thornton, the same character that Harrison Ford plays. Mm-hmm. And when his character leaves the story, I found it sort of traumatic, the way it's depicted. Mm-hmm. Because he gets shot with arrows, and you see him disappear onto a river, a frozen river, mm-hmm. and then Buck, the dog, sort of goes looking for him, and then we see like he's essentially frozen under the river, and you just see his face under the ice. And I was like 10 or whatever. I was like, oh my god,
Right.
It's freaking horrible. It's Chuck Heston. What happened to him?
Right.
And so. When this came out, and you and I, we spent some time talking about this, where we're just like, my gosh, how did they spend, whatever, $150 million, on this thing? And you realize, mm-hmm. It's because all the animals are digital, right? Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that in just a second. But it became available for purchase on Vudu like this past Friday. I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy this. Mm-hmm. I want to see it. I'm going to buy it. And I purchased it. And the first thing I did, Brian, was on my phone, I scrolled to the end because I wanted to see how they depict what happens to Harrison Ford's character.
Right.
Because I was like, I'm not ready to be traumatized that way.
Right.
And I saw it and I was like, okay.
Right. Yeah.
And then I went and watched
it doesn't say, we shouldn't spoil it, but he's not riddled with arrows and frozen under a lake. Let's put it that way.
That's right. I feel somewhat comfortable because the book is like 100+ years old at this point. But yeah, sure. I was like, I don't want that experience again. I'm just, I'm 40 damn years old, but I'm still, there's only so many ways I can see Harrison Ford being
You're right.
being put to death,
Right.
So this was fun because this is a PG movie. Mm-hmm. So all the kids, everybody, my whole family, we just sat and watched it. It's this past Sunday morning, and it was a perfect family movie.
I agree. I when this movie came out, I didn't want to admit it because I know there was so much backlash online to the animated dog.
Yes.
But I was like, I kind of want to see this. And then I would go to the theater to see other things, and there'd be these big posters for it. And I was like, yeah, no, I think I'm really interested in it. I might go. I'll just go on my own.
You're like Homer in Clown College.
Like, yes. You can't hold me back any longer. I'm going to see Call of the Wild.
I don't think any of us saw that coming.
It's kind of how I felt, and I have to admit, it's very, very sweet. It's kind of young, it feels like a family film, almost like an old school family film.
Yes.
But I got exactly what I expected from it, and I really enjoyed it.
I think this is like one of Harrison Ford's best performances in like 20 years.
Agreed. I remember when he was coming back as Han Solo, J.J. Abrams even said, I think people were worried after some of his, more recent roles where he just kind of growls a little bit.
Yeah.
And J.J. Abrams even said, I told him you can't get away with just growling on this movie. Like, you're going to have to come back as Han Solo. Like, I'm going to get that out of you. And so I felt in this, he seemed grizzled at times. He seemed charmed by the dog at times. And especially watching the behind the scenes when you see that the dog was played by a person.
Yeah.
And you see Harrison Ford just like nuzzling with this dude, this motion capture suit. I was like, he did it. He went for it. Like, he was all in on this, and it shows.
And it was because we critiqued the decision to have digital animals.
Yes.
I have to say, having seen the film, I understand the choice.
There's no way you make this movie.
Yes.
With real dogs.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's really the thing. I mean, it really leans heavily into sort of these animals being human-like almost in the way they interact with each other.
Mm-hmm. And their psychology of the experiences. Like, we are seeing it through their lens.
That's right, yeah.
Which you just could not, and it's interesting because I got used to it. I mean, it is distracting. It took me a minute.
Yes.
I think he even, not only did I get more used to it as the movie went on, but I feel like Bucks got better.
Yeah, I agree with
the movie, acting more like a dog. Because the first third of the movie, when he's in that home,
it was distracting.
It was distracting because he was acting like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah.
And even the movie I felt was shot like a cartoon, which I guess shouldn't be surprising because the director Chris Sanders is like a Disney veteran.
Okay.
What he did? He like directed like Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon and The Croods. So even just it had sort of an animated visual style to it. But then as it goes into nature, I felt like it caught up with its live actionness. And when everything got to Alaska, I got really into it.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it takes on a new energy once Harrison Ford enters the picture, which is maybe about, 20-some minutes into the movie, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when we first see him, and then it's probably another 10 or so, 15 before when he becomes like a focus. Mm-hmm. I thought the way in which the film... So in the novel... the Dan Stevens character who becomes kind of the heel for the movie, he that character only has a relatively small role, and then the antagonists near the end are a tribe of Indians. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that the movie didn't go in that direction.
Agreed. My girlfriend and I read the Wikipedia page back in like January or something, just out of curiosity because we hadn't read it. And as we were reading it, we're like, well, that's not what the movie's going to be.
Right.
It totally makes sense, and I think it tracks.
As soon as Dan Stevens shows up and he's like,
yes,
I was like, oh, okay, I know where this is going.
Yeah, I wrote down he basically plays Arthur C. Mustache Twirlet.
Yeah, he's Dick Dastardly, you know.
Yes, he absolutely is. Yes.
But yeah, I think this is a low risk, low reward kind of movie. I think if you're stuck at home, and I believe it's going to be on Disney Plus in a couple of days.
Oh,
if I'm not mistaken, probably by the time people are listening to this, it'll be on Disney Plus.
Oh wow!
So it's like a perfect just stay at home and watch. You're going to get a really very charming Harrison Ford performance. I mean, it reminds you why he's a star, because he's just so effortlessly relatable.
Yeah, just captivating. He's just a movie star. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's because of my relationship with him through Indiana Jones and Han Solo my whole life, but yeah, he's just one of those guys who's got it. You know, he's a movie star.
I mean, you talk about your relationship. It's very funny because my third son, he's going to be 9 in a couple weeks. He's like, I want to watch Call of the Wild. I'm like, why? He said it has Harrison Ford in it.
That's so cool.
You know, and
I love that.
I mean, how many stars are like that? You know, that just transcend the era. You know.
I know. Oh, by the way, I wanted to point this out. I guess now I realize I'm just tooting my own horn, but there was a scene in a train yard, and I was like, this looks like Spielberg. Like, this is so beautiful. And I had no idea, but then at the end when the credits came up, Janusz Kaminski was the cinematographer.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, that's why. And I also wanted to point out Omar Sy, who I really enjoyed in the
really
whole mail delivery sled dog sequence. And I didn't realize it, but he's from The Untouchables.
The Untouchables, yeah.
Yeah, which is The Upside, which came out with Bryan Cranston and, oh crap. It's so obvious and it's escaping my mind.
Kevin Hart,
which was a remake of that French film, The Untouchables, which I totally recommend for people. It was really, he's such a charming guy, and it was really fun seeing him in this.
It was a good, because I've seen him in a few American films, and yeah, nothing quite matches what was a very strong debut in The Untouchables.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
like he's in Jurassic World, and he's in one of the X-Men movies. This is the best American role that he's had.
Yeah, I agree.
Very good.
I agree. So, well, I'm glad we liked it. I mean, look, there's some corny stuff in there, and the dog kind of does things that a dog would never do. But I was like, I don't even care. Like, I got so into it, and I'll even admit it. Like Ford has kind of a sad backstory, and then as he's out there all alone, he's like, well, this gold could be out there. Like, we could do it. We could find it together. I teared up. That's how I just got swept up in it. And
I think I know you pretty well, so I had a feeling you were going to like this one.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, so
I was just in the mood for this.
Well, moving on.
Yes. Oh, similarly.
Also available on demand now is Bloodshot.
Yes.
And I should mention here that Bloodshot, I had booked a seat to go see this. It was going to be like a Tuesday, and then on Monday we're told, like, AMC's like, yeah, no, we're all closed now. And I'm like, well, guess that's not happening. But I got my wish.
Yes.
Whether I wanted it or not. Now, worth pointing out, this movie cost $45 million.
Okay.
And in under normal circumstances, I would say that's what you spend on a movie like this.
Yes.
These are not normal circumstances, and they're probably going to end up taking a bath on it.
Yes, but that feels responsible. Like we keep talking about that ongoing conversation, and it looked good for that budget. I thought. I
agree with you.
Yeah.
This is a weird one. I've said before. I mean, I'm familiar with the comic book character Bloodshot, although this film adaptation it adapts a version that I'm not familiar with. So I guess they've rebooted the character in the comics.
I see.
Which I had no idea about. And so this is that. I'm trying to, like, you can watch a movie like this with 2 points of view.
Yes. You are summing up feelings I had already forgotten because I watched it late last night. It is dumb. I mean, it just is. Yes.
It's predictable. It's like a cliche factory.
Yes. It's not bringing anything new to the table.
Absolutely not.
Visually, story, nothing.
Right. And I will say, I don't know how I would have reacted in the theater to this, but I will say watching it at home, I thought was relatively painless.
Yeah, I would ultimately fall down on the side that I didn't think much of it, and
I will never watch it again. I own it on Vudu. By the way, I should point this out because I guess we can say this, right? I mean, we share our video library.
Yeah, that was a secret Zachy and I shared for a while, but
we've been a couple long enough, Brian. We can talk.
Yeah, we can open this up.
So I had told Brian, I was like, hey, I have Call of the Wild, and if you want to check it out, maybe we can talk about it in the next show. He's like, oh, great. And then I was like, but by the way, I also bought Bloodshot. So if you're gonna watch Call of the Wild, you got to watch Bloodshot too. That's the monkey's paw that I'm making you. Right. To point this out. So Brian watched this to his great credit, because I truly didn't expect it, but he watched it under duress. I should point that out.
It's one of those things where it's just really, really kind of reminds me of like a 2020 generic action film with not a lot of personality, not a lot of. I mean, you could call it style, but it's more like color grading and quick cutting, Totally. I just didn't. But I will, if I were to give it any credit, I will admit that it kept doing things that made me like kind of snap back to attention, like, huh. You know, like it had. I can see why someone read the script and was like, "Let's do this."
Yes.
And I feel like it was missing like personality, and it was missing like, you know, to make it stand out and be a thing.
As soon as you cast Vin Diesel, you've chosen to reject personality. You've made your choice.
Yeah, you know, and that's another thing, by the way. That's another offshoot. I wrote down. I found myself asking myself, why do I not respond to Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
And I think it might be because, and I feel kind of bad about it. I'm like, he doesn't seem like a bad guy. Like, and I wonder if it's because he just has zero sense of humor about himself.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in the movie, he's like the greatest husband and the best lover and the
Every
best
time
soldier and the best. And then once he is literally the best soldier on earth, he's the bestest best soldier on earth. And you know, and there's one scene where I think it was in real life before he's even enhanced, I think, where he's in a bathroom and all these guys are attacking him.
Yep.
And this guy like punches his bicep and his bicep like doesn't even ripple. And he just like looks at the guy and the guy's like, oh, and then he like shoves his head into a toilet. And I was like, yeah, even The Rock can kind of laugh at himself a little bit. Like, I don't know. It's just something that
it's we see this in Triple X.
Yeah.
It's the same. He's the best of everything.
Yes. Even in human form, without his enhancements. Yeah.
Yes. And so I've said this before, like the Vin Diesel who anchors the Fast and Furious movies, those movies, I've said this before, they work sort of despite him.
Mm-hmm.
Not despite him, that's the wrong word. They like I don't think he is as essential to those movies as people may think, or as he
Fast and Furious?
Yes.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I think he is a pillar of them.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, yeah, like, well, yeah, you got to have Dom, right?
Yeah. But that's his signature role for sure.
Okay. Let me put it this way. This is the reason why he hasn't been able to branch out, because he plays the same character in everything, right? So,
yes, but with less personality in everything else, right?
Yes. But each of them is like a version of Dom.
Yes, and that's a good point. Yes, okay,
I think most people are like, well, I'd just rather watch Dom then.
Right, yeah.
And
because he's surrounded by such colorful characters.
Yes.
And in this one, I mean, everybody is forgettable, basically. Well, except for, what's his name? Guy Pearce.
I liked him. Yeah,
he showed up. Like, yes. He's like, all right, I'm going to do this.
She that in everything, though, you know?
Yeah, and how do you say, Isa? Is that it? Isa Gonzalez?
Isa Gonzalez, yeah.
I thought she was okay, too. Like, she showed up. She tried to. You know,
she was in Hobbs and Shaw. I wonder if like Vin Diesel cast her just to be like, yeah, Dwayne Johnson. She's in my movie too. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Here's, I think the problem to me is when you look at the Bloodshot comic book character, that is itself kind of a RoboCop riff.
Oh, totally, sure.
Right? Which is itself a pastiche of like 8 other things. So by the time we get to Bloodshot, the movie, it's like a Xerox of a Xerox of a Xerox, right? So there's nothing original happening there. So then you sort of rely on the personality of the actor. And, you know, we've established that Vin has a pretty small box that he operates out of. Right. The thought I had watching it was the best thing about this movie is the twist about what he thinks is real, right? Mm-hmm. And Sony completely shit the bed because they put that in the trailers.
Yeah.
Like, if I was watching, not having seen the trailer, that would have blown my mind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the action, the story, the acting, whatever, was just all sort of like, yeah. Yes. But, like, the script kept having these turns where I was like, oh, and then it made me perk up again.
Yes.
Just to try to continue tracking with what was really happening, and that was, to its credit, I mean, that was interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, but good point. And it's funny too, they use a different song in the trailer. They use a Johnny Cash song in the trailer, which I kind of liked.
Yes.
And this one's like Talking Heads. It's still a good song, but it's just, I was like, oh, I wonder why they did that.
I mean, I find so, and this is in the trailer, so I don't feel too bad. I'm not going to spoil the movie itself, but what's essentially happening is he's like the best of the best of the best, and then he's killed in action, and now he's the best of the best of the best of the best of the best,
right?
Because he's Vin Diesel, damn it.
Right.
Hashtag Vin Diesel, damn it. So essentially, he's infused with these nanites that give him superpowers, and he wants revenge on the person who killed his wife.
Right.
And so he goes out and it's Toby Kibble, and then what we find out, and this is in the trailer, is that actually the people who rebuilt him have programmed him with this scenario, and they're basically making him think he's seeking revenge, but he's actually killing people they've targeted. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so that's fine.
All in the trailer. That should have been a surprise.
That would have been a fantastic twist, like halfway through the movie, because you're like, "Whoa, what are we doing now?"
Yes,
that's interesting. I like that the film hangs a lampshade on how cliched the scenario is.
That was fun. That was a really good idea.
Right?
Yeah. I don't even know if that's giving away any of the surprises and fun that's in there, but the whole the bad guy dancing,
yes,
kind of thing. I thought that was pretty funny.
Because as I'm watching, I'm like, God, that's generic. And then
yes, me too. And even the thing, I was like, isn't that from like No Country for Old Men? What are we doing here? Like, so that was kind of
So there's stuff in here. I don't feel bad about having watched it. I know I'm never gonna watch this movie again.
No, and I still probably wouldn't even recommend it. Like, I think there are other things you could check out. Maybe at like 1 a.m. on TNT or something if you're not ready to go to bed.
I would agree with that. It's weird because this is Sony, and their whole intent behind this is, we're going to launch a new cinematic universe. Mm-hmm. Which that by itself makes this movie feel like it's from 5 years ago, right?
Right.
That is so 2013. But there's not enough there. I don't even want to watch Bloodshot 2.
There's not enough there. Very well put. I mean, the twists are interesting, but otherwise, entirely, there's just not enough there.
I mean, can you imagine a universe built around this movie? Forget it.
No. And how do we feel about nanotechnology?
I'm kind of done with nanites at this point.
It's just so... I don't know. Like, it's funny, like, the first thing I can think of that reminds me of this is, like, the liquid metal in Terminator 2, and that totally makes sense, because he's this metal blob, and you get chunks of him, and it comes back. But, like, nanotechnology is just, like, what if it was, like, all, like, little bugs that are this computer program we for some reason just want to keep using or something, you know? And it's less interesting. It makes way less sense. I don't know. Not to put it down, but there's that scene at the end where he's getting like ripped apart with bullets and all the nanites are flying around him. And I was like, I imagine this is supposed to be like visually stunning, but maybe just because we've seen it all.
Yeah.
You know, it just feels like, yeah. You know, and that's kind of sad, isn't it?
Yeah, I think... they should call them MacGuffinites, you know? It's just...
Yes. They can do anything, and they don't worry about it, and they work on his heart, they work on his skin, they were the nanites.
Yeah, nanites, yeah. The script imposes limitations on them, but even those limitations are so arbitrary...
Right.
...that they're very easy to get around.
Yeah, and it kind of made me laugh at the end, by the way, because then someone says to him, like... Before, you were, like, invincible, like a 3 invincible, but now you're, like, an 18 invincible. I was like, what? I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah. It's so funny. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of hear where we both landed on this. It's kind of funny because we basically ended up at the same place. Like,
it's a total, like when you were saying that you kind of threw it at me as sort of like a will he do this or not kind of thing. Yeah, I'm not mad about it. Like, there was, you know, it's a total time suck. But like, you know, like I just can't even muster the enthusiasm to even pretend like it's really worth anyone's time.
Like, had I gone to see it in the theater, like I for sure would not be like, Brian, go see it, right?
Yeah. But
this was like, well, I've got it, so
sure.
You're like not doing anything right now. If you're not, then you know it like that.
Yeah.
And there's probably, I mean, you can watch Heart of Dixie or something, I guess. But
that's a good idea.
If you're looking for something to watch, but assuming you get through all of Heart of Dixie,
Yes.
Maybe Bloodshot is what'll scratch that itch for you. So,
you know what I haven't admitted yet, by the way, I not because I was withholding it, but I just kind of forgot. Was I started it really late last night because I was going to watch it on my own for the mercy of everyone else, and then I was like, okay, like I said, I was like, the twist kept me awake, but then at some point it was just late and I got really tired. And I paused it and I fell asleep. And then I woke up before the show and we were going to start, I imagine probably a little earlier, but I was like, I'll finish it. I have like 15, 20 minutes left. And there was part of me though, like that was not going to finish it. And it was mostly for the integrity of the show that I felt like I should see the ending. So I was sort of like, I wasn't wondering what happened next. Let's put it that way.
So here we're like doing Bloodshot. Here's the twist on top of that. You text me this morning and you're like, hey, I gotta finish. I was up late watching Bloodshot, and I was like, oh shit, he actually watched it. I'd better finish it.
No, you?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't.
So there was about a half hour left that I needed to watch.
Wait, so we both watched the ending this morning?
Probably, yeah.
That is hilarious.
So there you go, folks. You just experienced this in real time for us.
That's pretty funny. Wait, by the way, one last thing I wrote down. Did you notice that the tech guy had a DVD copy of Bad Boys on his desk?
I didn't notice that.
I was like, what?
That's...
I mean, whatever.
Well, it's Sony, I guess, right? That's the...
Yeah.
Huh, weird. Bad Boys, like the first Bad Boys.
Yes. Okay. Or I don't know. I mean, it was at a little bit of a distance, and I just noticed Bad Boys. And
okay. Something from the Bad Boys catalog. We know that.
Yeah. I just thought that was kind of a funny, like, here, just prop. I could just see, like, the Sony suit guy just like, hey, just prop it on your desk, like, throw it away, but make sure people see it,
Well, you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. Speaking of Bad Boys, that Bad Boys for Life is now available on digital.
Watch that.
Watch that. Yeah.
Watch that. That was a good, fun action movie.
Good
characters, good throwback, good movie.
Given the choice between Bloodshot and Bad Boys, there is no choice. Go with Bad Boys.
Totally agree.
So that's a good place to leave this episode.
Yeah, this is fun.
We got on this morning being like, so what are we going to talk about? It was a lot of that. And then here we are like 2 hours later. So
yeah, and I can feel myself. I mean, I started happy to do it, but I can feel myself more energized from just talking with you. So this is great.
Well, we're going to be back soon because we've still got plenty of commentaries that we're going to be doing.
Oh, totally. And then, I mean, I don't know. I mean, even when that Bulls documentary airs, it'll be fun to talk about that.
Oh, yeah, we should. Yeah, that's a good idea. And we're going to have headlines and stuff to talk about anyway. We'll be totally watching stuff,
Oh, totally.
So coming up, we are now in April. Coming up this month, we can expect commentaries. This is the plan anyway, subject to scheduling. But Brian, I think we had talked about Apollo 13.
Oh yeah, that'll be good.
And then Iron Man 2, which turns 10 years old.
And is Guy Pearce in that?
He's in the third one.
Third one. Okay.
Yeah. And Iron Man 2 is an interesting one because it is generally disliked in the MCU catalog.
Right.
And I don't dislike it as much as a lot of people, so I feel like I might be able to add some semblance of something to a conversation about that.
Yeah, well, speaking, I have like you with Dark Knight Rises, I haven't seen it since the theater, so I'm interested to revisit it.
I was gonna say, yeah, I remember, because it didn't blow you away when you saw it. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, maybe 10 years of distance plus context of all the MCU stuff that's come after.
Totally.
Might add something. So those are both commentaries I'm looking forward to doing. Hopefully, fingers crossed, later this month.
Yeah.
But Brian, is there anything else that you want to be hyping up for the audience?
Well, Puppy Dog Pals is still airing, and then it's on Disney Plus as well. And there's a lot of ways to keep your kids entertained, right?
We need it.
Yeah. So that's out there.
As for me, you can check out the latest Nostalgia Theater show featuring my interview with Mark Valley, a.k.a. The Human Target. We had a really interesting conversation, not only about that show, but about, he served in the military. He was in Saudi Arabia at the same time I was in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, wow.
So we ended up talking about that, and he appeared in in a project directed by John Frankenheimer. So I was like, oh man, talk to me about working with Frankenheimer. You know, we went down these really interesting tangents. I think it made for hopefully a fun conversation that you can check out. And of course, I'm on. You know, you can find me on Twitter at Zacky's Corner. That's ZAKI's Corner. And when I do post at my website, which is not as often these days, but that is ZackysCorner.com. And as I ask you each and every episode, please go to iTunes and leave a review. Let people know what you think of the show. Leave a star rating also. And if you have any questions or comments for us, you can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. And with that, on behalf of my partner Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This has been Movie Film 198. We'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Welcome, friends. It's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast.